Hi friends, Miss Kristi here, and I am so excited to be in the kitchen together today. Today we are making potato wedges. So this is a small little snack that you can make, or maybe a side dish to a meal that you can try out. It's gonna be a fun day in the kitchen. All right, so we all know the first step of working in the kitchen and cooking is to wash your hands. So while I wash my hands with soap and warm water for 20 seconds, let's go over the ingredients and the supplies that you'll need to cook together today. The ingredients that you will need today to make our potato wedges are 2 potatoes, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1/4 teaspoon pepper, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. The supplies that you'll need are a cutting board, a knife, a large Ziploc bag, a baking sheet, parchment paper, oven mitts, 1 tablespoon, 1 teaspoon, and 1/4 teaspoon. Okay, great. Now that my hands are clean and you know the ingredients and supplies that you need to cook together, let's get started. The first step in making potato wedges is going to be to preheat your oven to 425 degrees. All right, the oven is preheating, so let's go to step 2. Next step is you're gonna grab your 2 potatoes that we have, and we need to rinse them to get the dirt off. We don't wanna cook with dirty potatoes. So we're gonna rinse them under the sink, and then I'm going to just dry them off with a paper towel. All right, our potatoes are rinsed and clean, and we've dried them off just to make them a little bit easier to work with so they're not all slippery. And now we're gonna cut the potato wedges. So that's the next step. You're gonna take 1 potato and you're gonna take a sharp knife. Again, if you need some help with this or you need to ask for help, make sure you have someone that can help you. But I'm gonna show you how to cut the potato wedge. So you're gonna first take your potato, set it on your cutting board, grab a good steady firm hold of your knife, and you're gonna just cut it right down the middle. All right, then you're gonna take one of the halves that you've just cut and you're gonna cut that one down the middle as well. So we have another half, and from here, you're gonna cut one of these halves in half again. And the same thing on the other side. So half of a potato is gonna give you 4 wedges. So if you can see here, we've got 4 wedges. And then I'm just gonna do the same thing on the other side. So this is half of our potato. I'm gonna cut it right down the middle. Cut one side in half again. And then cut the other side in half. Okay, so 1 potato is gonna give you 8 wedges, which is why this is a really great simple snack or small side dish that you can try. So same thing, I'm just gonna cut the other one in half, just like we did this first one. So the potatoes are now cut, and the next thing you're gonna do is grab your larger Ziploc bag. Now I have a gallon size. You don't necessarily need it to be this big. We're gonna shake it up a little bit, so you wanna have some room for the potato wedges to move around in there. Probably like a sandwich bag would be a little bit too small, but if you don't have this big of a size, that's okay. You can just kind of grab what you have and we'll make it work. So you're gonna just drop the potato wedges into the bag. All right, and I like to roll down the top just a little bit while we're gonna put some ingredients in there. It makes it a little easier to get what you need inside, but our potatoes are in there, and I'm just going to kind of set this in front of me so that we can now start adding the ingredients to make them taste really good. So what you're gonna need is 1 tablespoon of oil. So I have olive oil here. It's gonna give it a nice flavor. And we're gonna pour out 1 tablespoon. gonna move my knife out of the way. We don't need that anymore. So 1 tablespoon, if you look on here, it's gonna be the 1, and then it's gonna say TBSP, which stands for tablespoon. So it's the bigger one. You're just gonna take that and you're gonna pour it in over your potato wedges. All right, so again, I like to move the ingredients out of the way once I'm done, just so they're not in my way. We won't need that anymore. Now we're gonna do our salt and pepper, and you're gonna need 1/4 teaspoon of each. So it's gonna be the smaller one, it's gonna have 1/4 on it, and you're just gonna grab some salt, scoop it in, and dump it in your bag. Same thing with the pepper. We're gonna take 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, scoop it in, dump it in over our potato wedges. They are gonna taste good. All right, now the last one is 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. But let me tell you, if you don't like garlic or the taste of garlic powder, or you don't have it on you, just don't use it. I like the taste of it, my family likes the taste of it, so we're gonna use it, and we're gonna use 1 teaspoon. So it's just gonna be the 1 on your little spoon, and it's gonna say TSP for 1 teaspoon. And you're gonna just measure it out here and sprinkle it in. But again, if you don't have it, it's okay. It just gives it a little bit more flavor. All right, so super simple. Those are the only ingredients that we need for this recipe, or to make these potato wedges. So now we're going to seal our bag, super important, so we're not getting our potato wedges everywhere when we turn them upside down and shake it. We're gonna seal it, and I'm just gonna shake it to kind of mix that oil and all those ingredients together so all of our potato wedges are nice and coated. And now comes the fun part, we get to shake it. All right, they look coated, so you can see why it's super important to make sure that the top is sealed, or else that would have went everywhere. All right, those look great, and they're nice and even and coated. We have a lot of the salt and pepper on each one of our potatoes, and we're now going to put them on our baking sheet. So I have parchment paper down just because it makes it a little bit easier to clean up. They're not gonna stick to your pan. If for some reason you don't have parchment paper today, not a problem. You can put them right on the baking sheet. So now all I'm gonna do is just spread them evenly out so that they're in a nice layer. You don't want any of them overlapping or they're not gonna cook evenly. We're gonna spread them out and pop them in the oven for 25 minutes. So that's what we're gonna set the timer to. Set the timer for 25 minutes. All right, nice even layer. I'm gonna quick rinse my fingers, put my oven mitts on, and pop them in the oven. All right, our oven is preheated. I've got my safety oven mitts on here so we don't get burnt, and then we're gonna stick these in the oven. "25 minutes later, all right, our 25-minute timer just went off, so I've got my oven mitts on for safety, and we're gonna pull out our potato wedges and bring them over to our workspace or our counter to let them cool. Now I'm setting these down on pot holders or maybe another oven mitt, something to protect the counter because the pan is very hot. And since it's very hot, because it just came out of the oven, we need to let it cool for about 5 minutes before we get them on a plate and we try them. 5 minutes later. It's been 5 minutes. Our potato wedges have cooled a bit from the oven, and now we're just basically going to take them off of our sheet, put them on. I have a plate here. You can put them in a bowl, however you want to eat them. We're just gonna get them off the baking sheet so we can try them. They look so good, and we're gonna give them a try to see how they taste. So they are crispy and they are crunchy and flavorful with all the salt and the pepper and the garlic powder that we put on them. I really do hope you try to make these on your own. Again, it's a simple snack that you can make, or maybe a side dish to a meal. Now, next week we are making stovetop popcorn, and I'm really excited about this recipe. This is a quick, simple snack that you can make. It's a smaller size, so we're not making a ton of popcorn, for a whole family. This is just a little simple snack that you can make. And again, it's gonna be on the stovetop, so it's a little bit different than just popping my popcorn in the microwave. In order to cook along with me next week, these are the ingredients that you will need. 1/4 cup popcorn kernels, 1 tablespoon oil, and 1/4 teaspoon salt. Thank you so much for being in the kitchen with me today. I had such a great time making these potato wedges. I hope you try it. I'm sure they will be great. And I just can't wait for next week. Make sure you click the subscribe button so you don't miss the notification that next week's video is out and ready to cook together. And I just can't wait. I'll see you then. Bye, friends.